What's up, guys? It's your boy Mizzy. We got Miami, we got Ole Miss set to play this week, man. Should be a good one. Miami just coming off a big win versus Ohio State. Ole Miss, Trinidad Chambliss creating magic versus Georgia. I didn't cover the Georgia and Ole Miss post game, but I kind of just felt like it passed and I was on to the next. So, like I said, man, I'm going to get into this game. But anyways, guys, look. These two teams are complete opposites. Miami wants to make it a game that's ugly, in the trenches. Ole Miss wants to get out, run. They want to get in the 30s, 30 points, make it a track meet. And, Miami, like I say, when they play teams, they like to impose their will. They like I said, they play in the trenches. O-line, D-line, both great, man. Like they prove and show like football is so simple. Your big guys up front control the line of scrimmage, and like I said, man, when you watch Miami when they play A&M, then Ohio State, and the way that they could just move Ohio State, it was impressive, guys. It was impressive. But really looking at both of these teams on paper, which like I say, games not won on paper, but on paper, Miami should win. Like I say, they had a better defense. They can run the ball. Like I just said, they got Bain. Like I said, they got both of the D line is great. But like I said, the one thing is, man, Trinidad, TC, what I'm gonna call him, Trinidad Chambliss, man. That guy, if he can put that Superman cape on and recreate what he did versus Georgia, man, he can beat anybody. Cause like I said, man, that guy, he's amazing. Like I said, but hey, we definitely gonna see. Like I said, I'm real interested to see, cause the way that Miami called the game, I think people got confused. Carson Beck is not just a trash quarterback. I know people start feeling like, oh man, Carson Beck this, Carson Beck that. Carson Beck is still a good quarterback. It just, they're not asking much of him because, like I said, if you can control the line of scrimmage and run the ball with Mark Fletcher the way you is, why put the ball in risk? It don't make no sense. You might well keep playing the way you playing. But anyways, like I said, man, Miami is a 3.5-point favorite. And like I said, the key is, can you slow down Trinidad? Is Ole Miss going to have one of those quarters like you've controlled them 3 of the 4 quarters, and then they have one of those quarters that they go for 20 points, and you looking like, wait, what happened? How did they get the lead? Like I said, then Kyron Lacy, can he get some movement on the ground to make this D-line kind of respect that run game and not just fire off at Trinidad every play? Like I say, and Lacy will be key and try to get some blocks, to give Trinidad a little more time to free up and pass. And then, like I say, him catching short passes. But like I said, this defensive line is great. You may not have all day to throw back there. You're going to have to maybe shorten some of those routes up. But like I said, man, Ole Miss wide receivers, this game is going to, if they want to win, they're going to have to win their one-on-ones. They got to. Like I said, Wireless, dribbling. Like, you got to have, like I said, I ain't saying both guys got to go over 100 again. But you're going to have one of those guys going to have to have a big game to, like I say, and they're going to have to win their one-on-ones. Because the way Mark Fletcher is running right now for Miami, he's averaging 7 yards a carry. Like I say, cutting, juking. Like, I think he had maybe, is it one fumble with A&M? But like I say, man, he's been balling, and just watching that guy, I'm like, man, he's been controlling just the game, like, I said, it's more on his shoulders right now than Carson Beck. And when you got a running back running the ball like that, getting you in third and manageable, not having to, like say, third and long, not having to pass the ball like deep down the field. Most of the passes Carson Beck has been throwing has been check down, screens, mesh concepts underneath, throwing routes. Nothing like this really deep down the field because they don't have to. And Miami likes to control time of possession. When they get the ball, they bleed the clock, like I say, and that's something Ole Miss is not going to want to do. Ole Miss wants, like I say, they want to get in the track meet. If they score in a minute, it's fine with them. They just want to get points on the board. And like I say, when you got a offense as good as Ole Miss, a lot of times the way you kind of try to neutralize a great defensive line is speeding up the game to see if you can tire them guys out and see can by the third and fourth quarter is the pass rush not coming as hard as it was in the first quarter. And like I said, you can have those guys tire out. But like I said, it's not going to be easy because like I said, this Miami defense is for real. And like I said, man, Miami, like I said, man, they want to control the line of scrimmage. And like I said, most games they play, they do control the line of scrimmage. Like I say, man, and another thing, like I say, I just trust Miami run game. You know, one of the things, like I said, Ole Miss defense, I don't trust. I don't trust Ole Miss defense. Like I said, I trust Miami run game. I trust Miami defense. But like I said, the biggest key, can they control Trinidad Chambers? Because, you know, he's not a QB that runs for a bunch of yards. He's a QB that creates. He runs around, he's still looking downfield. He's not like a Cam Newton or a Lamar Jackson, like he's trying to go for 100 yards. He's running around to still see, can somebody get open? And that's when he's even more great, because it's hard for any defense, no matter how great you is, to hold up when a guy just scrambling. And like I said, the plays versus Georgia, when he's running backwards, spinning out, he's here, and then finds a guy just coming out of the backfield and hits him. Like I said, it's hard for any defense. But I do think, like I say, Georgia did pressure some, but Georgia got no sacks. Georgia struggled with that all year. Like I said, Miami, they do have guys that can get you on the field. You know, of course, you got Bain, like I said, but, you know, it's all about, can you contain Trinidad Chambers? Can you gap integrity? Can you get him off his spot more and get him on the ground? Like I said, you can't just be rushing him and he's just running here and there. I'm pretty sure, like I said, Crystal Ball them talking about, look, we got to keep this guy contained. Can't let him just run around the whole field and have it like backyard football. But like I said, and that's the one thing, like I say, the one key to the game, because as good as I think this Miami team is, when you play a player like TC, it's always a chance that they could break the game wide open and just be that X factor you didn't expect. But like I said, I think I'm rooting for Ole Miss. I'm going to say it like this. I'm rooting for Ole Miss because, like I say, with the Lane Kiffin leaving, the whole situation with offensive coordinators going back to LSU and recruiting and all that mess, I'm rooting for Ole Miss, but I have to go with Miami. I just think Miami is the more prepared team, more focused, like I said, and they just a more physical team. They the team that, like I say, the way they win, it may not be the prettiest, but they get the job done. And then, like I said, man, Miami to me is just the tougher team. So I got Miami this game 27-24, 27-21, 27-24. I'm somewhere around there because I'm thinking, like I say, I think that Fletcher gonna have another 100-yard game. I don't think that Ole Miss is gonna be able to control them. I think Ole Miss will have a point in the game that they offensive they do something, but I think being Miami, like I say, Miami's like a boa constrictor. They tighten up and then control the game. And then, like I said, man, but if Ole Miss did figure out a way to win, it's gonna take another Superman game by TC. It's gonna take another 200-300-yard passing game, and then, you know, a game that you get all of a sudden, you take Mark Fletcher out of the game, and now they're going to Carson Bay like, hey, Carson, we need you to pass for 250 plus. We need you now to win this game because we can't just run the ball and control the time of possession. But anyways, guys, like I said, man, I got Miami, like I said, 27-21. And like I said, we'll see how it goes. But anyways, guys, like, comment, subscribe, share. I appreciate you, and I'll catch you next time.